Welcome one, welcome all, welcome to the latest edition of In the Zone, coming to you live across the airwaves of 3-Out Radio, 3-OutRadio.com, and the 3-Out Radio app in the Apple Store. You can listen to this and all episodes of In the Zone on iTunes via Apple Music, Spreaker.com, Streamer.com, iHeartRadio.com, and the iHeartRadio app. This is the latest edition of In the Zone, coming to you live August 17th, Mid-America, Kansas City. The dog days of summer continue on. A little bit warm outside, and they say it's supposed to cool down and then heat back up again. So I guess Mother Nature's going through the whole changing of the seasons deal again. So we'll see how that works out here going forward. Hopefully that the weather is fine and life is good and treating you well wherever you are. Coming up today here on In the Zone, we have the latest on the Urban Meyer investigation at Ohio State. Some recent information has been discovered, and then also the school president made some comments as well late last night in regards to this particular investigation, this situation. Also want to look at the tragedy and fallout involving Jordan McNair at the University of Maryland, a young man who passed away, unfortunately, back in the beginning of June following a workout and just blatant malfeasance on the part of a strength and conditioning coach and the head coach as well. Again, we have some comments and things to look at as far as that goes. Also want to look at the two holdouts in the NFL that are going on right now with Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. And with them holding out, that's pretty much where things kind of shift and differentiate with the players go as far as salaries and everything else. We'll take a look at that. Also, as I said earlier, wanted to give you guys a look ahead at how the anthem issues, John Elway's comments, and Colin Kaepernick could potentially hijack opening weekend in the NFL. And I'm not making that up. It's not hype, frenzy, or anything else. It could literally happen. We'll get into that. I also want to look at this hits rule that the NFL's put out here, especially this little instructional, piecemeal, hey, look at me, I'm an 11th grade videotape that they put out this week, and why they need to just throw this rule out, man, and start over. Also, boxing news. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. The fight's going to happen. It almost happened a couple times today. We'll break it down, get into it, as well as other boxing news with Anthony Joshua, Alexander Povetkin, Dillian White, Mikey Garcia, and Errol Spence. And, of course, we'll close it out, as always, again, with Combat Sports Boxing. We'll also have a preview of this Sunday's WWE SummerSlam coming to you live from Barclays Center, live on the WWE Network. But, of course, as we always do, let's take it up top again with the Urban Meyer investigation. The head football coach at Ohio State University was under investigation at this time, basically under allegations that he knew of domestic violence that was taking place with one of his now ex-coaches and did nothing about it and nothing to report it. A decision on this matter was almost expected at any time. They said 14 days. Well, we're around day 13, 14 at this point in time, and the investigation was expected to wrap up. However, late last night, the Ohio State president announced via Columbus news station WOSU and also via ESPN's Dan Murphy and also via Bleacher Report that the investigation, quote-unquote, will be finished when it's finished. Stated that he and the board of trustees will make announcements regarding their findings at the conclusion of the matter on their time. They say, yes, we're where we gave 14 days. However, due to the matter at hand, we need a little bit longer to take a look at this. He also went on to say that, quote, there's a great deal of interest in this investigation. We also want to make sure that we have really good information, and we know and are aware that there is time pressure from our fans and from others. We wanted to have the information divulged and sifted through as quickly as possible. The most important thing is to get good information so that we can make the right decisions here going forward. President Drake also went on to state that what we're doing right now is an investigation to try to find out exactly what happened, why it happened, what the context was, and etc. I'm going to wait until I know these things before I make my own conclusions. I'm doing my best possible job to keep an open mind, and as I stated, stay tuned. Just breaking down his comments, and I was on here last week talking about this. We had a little technical difficulty and things broke down. I'll say this at the top right now. I think Urban Meyer, the longer this goes, the more it becomes clear that Urban Meyer is going to be cleared in this matter. Now, you have a lot of people in the national media, Paul Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith, Will Kane, just name some ESPN people. You have Colin Cowherd that's kind of raised an eyebrow at this. I think he gets cleared. Now, is that going to absolve him from total university punishment? I'll get to that here momentarily once we go through a review of everything for anybody who's not familiar with the story as well. There would have to be something concrete at this point in time that actually would directly tie Urban Meyer, his wife, a member of his staff, or anybody that she may have known to Zach Smith. Has to be a direct correlation between any of those guys and him that is undeniable. At this point in time, because of Zach Smith and who he is and him being unreliable, we cannot make that correlation. With you not being able to make that correlation, that gets Urban Meyer off of the hook. Now, that's not a popular opinion, but hell, what in sports these days is a popular opinion? You tell me. Not a popular opinion, but again, facts are facts. This is reminiscent and kind of similar to the Ezekiel Elliott situation, and no coincidence, he went to Ohio State. Urban Meyer backed him during his trials and tribulations last year. But you can basically swap out Urban Meyer and Ezekiel and swap out Tiffany Thompson and Zach Smith, and you're going to come to the same conclusion. Tiffany Smith was interviewed by, Thompson was interviewed by 3 police municipalities. Was interviewed by an investigator 6 times. We're told this is not a credible witness by somebody who used to be a federal prosecutor in New York State. The same thing applies to this guy. There's news came out this week, which I'll get to again during the rundown of the review of the case, to where there are more skeletons in this guy's closet. If he had no skeletons in his closet, had a clean record, it had the incident at Florida that happened in 2009, you would have had the incident in 2015. If those 2 things had happened and that was it, and we're just looking solely at 2015, yeah, Urban Meyer would be in trouble. However, you got 2009. There's an incident that I'll get to that happened back in 2013 that also involved an Ohio State graduate who probably helped him fix the situation. You didn't have the 2015 incident. You didn't have this incident that happened here last April. You have text messages where he's basically more or less admitting that he domestically abused his wife. This is not a credible person that you can stand behind and say, you know what? He's telling the truth. We can believe him more than we can believe what Urban Meyer says. If the roles were reversed, or if this was less evidence or less skeletons to look at him and excoriate him and go, hey, this is a bad guy. This is a bad person. We can't believe him. That's what I'm looking at right now. If me from the outside looking at this just from the optics, I'm looking at it as, hey, Zach Smith is not a credible witness. He's not a good person. I can't go off of anything that he's saying to be true. And now you're trying to tie it to a person who basically has had a more or less, again, no coach is totally clean, but squeaky clean persona about himself and reputation throughout his career. So in this case, I think Urban walks away. Not going to walk away totally unscathed, but he walks away from this. For anybody who hasn't heard about what's going on at Ohio State, again, this is in relation to a 2015 domestic violence incident before now former Ohio State Buckeyes wide receiver coach Zach Smith. By the way, him and his ex-wife Courtney were interviewed by the investigators on campus here this week. Because of this incident that was discovered, Urban Meyer is currently still on paid administrative leave by the university pending the outcome of the investigation. Again, as the president said, he'll do it on his own timetable because of the seriousness of the matter, because everything that's writing on it wants to make sure everything is right. This incident is, again, related back to 2015, and his ex-wife did an interview with the Sports Site Stadium a couple weeks back, where she basically implicated Urban Meyer's wife, Shelley, who was actually on staff at Ohio State, and said that she told her about the incident, but was not sure that she had told Urban Meyer. She also showed, and again, these pictures have been published as well, some of the pictures from the incident as well. Urban Meyer was asked about this at Big Ten Media Days. This is after Smith had been fired, and he generally kind of just brushed it aside and denied the incident. but later issued a statement acknowledging that he was in fact aware of the incident and was told by Smith that he did nothing illegal. Which, again, you now have a non-credible witness that has lied to a head coach. That's why I'm saying Urban gets out of this. Again, if this was just 2009 in Florida, which we'll get to, and 2015, and we're just going off, and we're looking at those two instances by themselves. 2015 is the one in question. You can very easily look at this, make the correlation, direct contact, and go, hey, you knew, you're gone, see you later. Can't do that now. Smith actually did an interview with ESPN. It was a one-on-one interview that was kind of, dare I say, weird. Basically stating in the interview that he did not commit any illegal acts, proclaimed his innocence, and said that Urban Meyer was not involved directly or indirectly. Now, immediately after this interview aired, and I was actually at home watching this, immediately after this interview aired on Twitter and social media, Brett McMurphy revealed some text messages that actually showed Zach Smith admitting to the 2015 domestic assault, and also an incident that happened in April, which is the one that got him fired from Ohio State because Urban Meyer did find out about that. Now, worst case scenario, if let's say Urban Meyer did know about 2015, obviously he would have found out about April, and he didn't report that. It's a violation of his new contract he just signed earlier this year. They can fire him, and he can lose out on $38 million. Of course, he'll probably fight him in court. That would go back and forth for about a year and a half or so, and things would get convoluted from there. Also was revealed earlier this week that Zach Smith had a DUI arrest in 2013. He did not tell Ohio State about this. Once again, uncredible witness, questionable activities. What do you do? The DUI was discovered earlier this week. He was arrested and charged with speeding and operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol back in February 2013, which is a year after he joined the Buckeye staff. He later pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and had his license suspended for 6 months. Oh, by the way, the ruling judge in that little matter 2013 was an Ohio State graduate from the 1960s. So you just had a speeding ticket fixed by an Ohio State graduate, and you work for Ohio State for a year, and you don't tell your employer, well, you know what? Hey, I got clipped last week for drunk driving. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about at this point in time? That's just like me. That's like me on my job. I'm not reveal what I do, but I cannot have that happen to me. I cannot go out and get drunk at the bar and get lit, get behind the wheel of a car, go driving down the road, get pulled over by the police, get arrested, and get charged with a DUI and think, oh, well, I'm going to walk into work Monday scot-free. Nothing's going to happen to me. No, they're going to find out about it. This was buried because the judge was an Ohio State graduate, probably had knowledge that this was Earl Bruce's grandson, stuck it in the middle of the stack and said, hey, we're not going to worry about it. Well, hey, guess what? Somebody just like Brett McMurphy, just like others, did a little digging. Oh, what's this? Dug a little deeper. Hey, 2013. Hey, what's this judge's name? Let's run through the system. Oh, he graduated from Ohio State back in the 1960s. You just fixed a parking ticket for you. You have to have credibility in order to get somebody fired at this point. Is what it seems like Zach Smith is messed up. And now because this came out, everybody, mostly other fans, Michigan fans specifically, no offense, want him gone. But again, just like when the Ezekiel Elliott situation that the NFL botched, you have somebody that lied 9 times. You have somebody that beat his wife in 2009, covered up a DUI 4 years later, beat his wife again 2 years later, and beat his wife again later 2 years after that. So it now makes sense to where he says, well, hey, Urban Meyer didn't have any knowledge of this. He probably didn't. If you covered up a DUI, more clear in this situation. Now, the matter also entails Urban Meyer's wife, Shelley. which again, she's on staff at Ohio State.